So how do you manage the risk and safety game when it comes to, financial opportunities and protecting downside? I honestly think it's trial and error. By the time I was 21 or 22, probably had read anywhere between 100 to 150 books, audible and physical, from personal development to psychology to sales to romance to biology to history to religion to personal development to NLP to advanced communication to facial reading. Imagine learning about how to read the facial muscles of people. And look, there were some things I learned from it, which is really cool. But why do I mention all these things? I was able to integrate a lot of my learnings once I was really in the field. Prior to then, I had a lot of theory. I knew a lot about a lot of things. I could talk to you about the religions like Baha'i. That's an Abrahamic religion that many people don't know about. That's one of the fastest growing religions. I could tell you about neuro-linguistic programming, which is the ability to influence people by framing and using the technology of reason and how they look at the world. And some of these things were really cool to learn. But no matter how many Simon Sinek, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee books you read about leadership, you're not going to understand leadership until you have to manage one person, until you have to manage a sales team, until you have to manage people. So when it comes to big risks, I could be like, well, if you get 80% of the information, then you jump and you make a decision. But that's really not the correct frame. The correct frame is life is short, but it's also kind of long, but it's short. What do I mean by that? Touch wood. I mean by that, you would rather have the pain of knowing than the pain of regret. So for me, how I make my decision. I already know what my financial freedom number is. It's been the same since I was 21 years old, which is interesting. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to make $1 million a year. Okay, but after the I don't know where you look at, but after the Australian tax, okay, maybe you left like 40 grand, 60 grand, if that. Okay, so 400 or 600K. Okay, I want to make 10 million a year. Why do you want $10 million a year worth of stress? Do you know a lot of people that are millionaires under 30 usually are significantly higher on the dark triad traits of Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy, or sociopathy rather? Do you want to embody those traits? Now, I'm not saying all of them do, but many of them do. And if you're under 25 and you're wealthy, the odds are is you probably have a level of mental illness or extreme insecurity. Did you know that? Right? So when it comes to the freedom number of things, I've been able to stick to my number since I was 21. So I know, at least based on statistics right now, the odds of me reaching my freedom number, I'll probably reach that number around 28, 29, which is cool. If it happens by 31, great. If it happens by 27, by the end of next year, awesome. But I'm just grateful that I have momentum to that. Why do I mention that? When it comes to risk, right? My perception is I'm willing, let's just say I'm making 100K a month as an example. I'm willing to spend 100K a month if it means that it gets me to 150K next month. Now, that's because I know what my freedom number is. My freedom number is not 7 figures revenue per year. It's not that, right? If it was that, it would be a different situation. I probably wouldn't be making this video. But my freedom number is a certain number that requires me to have a much bigger company and tolerate a lot more stress and be a lot more built for it. So I've got to get stronger physically, stronger mentally. So therefore, I'm willing to risk things until I get that freedom number. And then for me, look, I'm not saying that I'll put the foot off the gas when I hit that number, but now I know that my endeavors are going to be a little bit more creatively inclined. For example, I run other companies that are in the events and the media space. I'm going to do cool things. Watch this. I've been saying since I was in my late teens, early 20s, I would love to do a fashion show in Antarctica one day. I remember telling girls in the past that I've been seeing or dating, I'm going to do this. And they're like, you're crazy. And then some of the girls, maybe when I dated when I'm a bit older, like, this motherfucker actually might actually do this because he's crazy and I've seen him do other things and make it happen. But I know that if I was to, first of all, I'm not rich enough to do that, but if I was to do something like that, that would take time, that would take management, that would take access, that would take resources that I do not have yet, that would take networks of people, that would take licenses. So I understand that right now I'm willing to risk certain things until I hit a freedom number where I can now afford to do something like that and many other creative things, right? So when it comes to risk, to sum it up, you need to be clear. It's about clarity. It's about having clarity on what your ideal minimum lifestyle number is, and then using even ChatGPT, the tool that we have now, to reverse engineer and be like, okay, how much will it cost to live this life day in, day in, and day out? And once you figure out that number, it's a game of, okay, I am now willing to risk basically everything prior to that level of that freedom number, because that's the freedom number that actually enters you into the realm out of what we call scarcity. Scarcity is, can I go to the bathroom? Can I eat? Can I mate? Can I sleep? Once those needs are met, there's other needs that you can achieve. For example, I can't wait to the point where I'm like, you know what? I really want to do a fashion show in Antarctica. So in order for me to do that, okay, hey, Kanye West, I want this person I want that, Jeezy, I want this. Hey, my account managers, I want this, I want you guys to box it. And I've got maybe I've got the premier of Antarctica on the phone. It sounds crazy, but there's someone that is able to live this life, right? So when it comes to the thing of risk, I think the better question is, what is the lifestyle you want to live? And then once you are specific on that lifestyle, I think you will be willing to risk. If you're really about entrepreneurship, I think you're willing to risk nearly everything to make that a reality.